Wait. I don't want you to injure.
Corruption in the office of the Prime Minister has been endemic over the years. Remember the PRDP funds, Geoffrey Kazinda, and the 400 million shillings Mercedes-Benz procured for the former Prime Minister, Amama Mbabazi? This time, the Iron Sheet saga hit us like a bolt from the blue. Well, given that it is a fisherman's cabinet, we can be forgiven for expecting better, especially when ministers were being carted off to Luzira prison during the Easter break.
I have said before, I have been baptized by fire, but I am firm. And the question that I'm asking is, why should Agnes Nanduki be committed to the High Court when the lower court has the mandate to deal with this?
However, the ministers are still in their positions, and as the destiny of most corruption cases in this country, the Iron Sheet saga has been relegated to an occasional court session, an adjournment, and nothing much more. Then, on the morning of May 2nd, Charles Okello Engola, the State Minister for Labour, Employment and Industrial Relations, was gunned down by his bodyguard a day after participating in the International Labour Day celebrations. Initial reports indicated that the two had disagreed over his outstanding wages. His death caused a flurry of response in how principals treat their bodyguards, with some bodyguards being treated as body slaves. The shame, though, was how the army took so long to hand over the bodyguard's body to his family members for burial.
Kandi ncho ndashabira amahega UPDF gatuyambe family ya minister kera abe yatuganyire nabo batuganyire bareta omuntu witu tumuzike.
To the extent that the grave that they had dug began to fill with water as they begged and begged for the body. Then, on the night of 6th May, in a surprise move that got the nation talking, Ibrahim Tusubira, aka Isma Olaxes or Jaja Ichuri, a vlogger who was known for spewing vitriol against his chosen targets, was shot dead near his home in Chanja, a city suburb. His last famous diatribe celebrated the death of the slain Minister Engola, who he castigated for failing to pay his bodyguard turned murderer.
Isima abadde nga olunaku lukedde n'akola vidiyo naawe ng'obeerawo n'otyamu.
The suspects who were arrested in Isma's murder case were released. Police said the pistol used to kill him was not registered with any of the government or private security agencies. On May 6th, King Charles III was crowned king at a lavish ceremony at Westminster Abbey in London, 8 months after his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, had died.
God save the king! God save the king!
At the age of 73, he was the oldest person to ascend to the British throne after having been the longest-serving heir apparent in British history. King Charles III became the head of the Commonwealth, an association of 56 independent countries and 2.5 billion people. For 14 of these countries, the king is head of state. Then, on 26th May, fighters of the Al-Shabaab Islamist group carried out a deadly attack on an African Union forward operating base at Bulo Mareer in the Lower Shebele region of Somalia, killing over 50 combat-hardened UPDF soldiers, including Lieutenant Colonel Edward Nyororo, who was manning the base. The attack sent shockwaves throughout the country because Al-Shabaab had been declared a spent force.
Another character is called Omor, who are the ones who caused the problem. They are now under arrest. They will be court-martialed.
The General Court Martial found 2 senior officers guilty of cowardice, in that when the attack occurred, they failed to rally their troops, but instead ran away to the nearest base. And after keeping the country in the longest lockdown on the continent, with the toughest containment measures that included curfews, business and school closures, shutting of borders, and displaying an inexplicable fear for COVID-19, on June 7th, President Yoweri Museveni informed the nation that he had tested positive for the virus. A few days earlier, the former leader of opposition, Mathias Mpuga, had called on lawmakers to boycott the State of the Nation address, saying taxpayers' money was being wasted on COVID tests. Even today, those who wish to see the president are still subjected to COVID tests and they have to sit a distance away from him. Gillian Nantume, NTV Weekend Edition.